I do not hold a whole lot of love for New York. I mean, I guess I like upstate New York as far as like skiing and stuff like that are concerned. But if you're talking about Manhattan, New York City, places like that, nah, hard pass, bro. And in fact, I won't even fly into LaGuardia Airport anymore. I've just had far too many bad experiences. So I will likely never return to New York City as long as I live. Just forget that place 100%. That said, I think that it's important to talk about what's going on in New York because statistically, some of you will live in the state of New York. I hope that none of you are trapped in that cesspool. But again, statistically speaking, probably a few of you are. But for the rest of us that aren't, it's important to track what is happening in New York because we want to have an idea of what that looks like should what they are doing there come to visit a place that we care about. Kentuckiana Gunworks is best known for their research and development into lubrication technology. Their enhanced reliability oil is the product that I choose to use to keep my stuff running year round, and they've also recently released their minimalist quick-released sling retainers. KGW offers VSO subscribers a discount, and you can find that information over at the affiliates page. Special thanks to them for making today's video possible. Today we're going to be studying some numbers from a publication known as The City, and the title of the article is NYPD Granting Fewer Gun Permits After Supreme Court Ruled It Had to Grant More, Data Shows. To be clear, I do not suggest that you subject yourself to the mental gymnastics and personal anguish that I have put myself through to bring you today's video by reading this article. It is a clear propaganda piece about the city in open defiance of the Supreme Court, blah, 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 chest beating, et cetera, et cetera. I've heard some statements like that up to this point, but to be completely honest, I don't have any reference point. I don't live there. I didn't have any data. And as I mentioned previously, on a personal level, I do not have a single care for what's going on in New York because, well, I will never go there again because of policies like these. But to give you an idea of what was going on before the New York State Rifle and Pistol Association v. Bruen, the Bruen decision that we've talked very heavily about over the course of the last months, as far as the fallout from that and the absolute hay that is being made of gun control right now, that decision, before that decision came down, the city was in a proper cause issuance. It had a very stringent requirement, and we all know that that is rife for corruption. If you got a lot of money and you can contribute to the NYPD or the mayor or, whoever, you got some friends that in high places, sure, you can apply and get yourself a pistol permit and, et cetera, et cetera. If you're a common folk like me, yeah, good luck. You ain't getting that, right? If you contribute to the right political party, yeah, you can get that weapons permit. But if you're a serf like the rest of us, then good luck. Your life isn't worth defending. And was supported by the data. So how is it now that the U.S. Supreme Court has said, hey, you can't do that anymore. You have to move to a shall issue type of scheme. How is it that they are approving fewer of these permits today than they were back then? In 2021, NYPD received 4,663 applications and approved 2,591 of them, and that's 56%. And that's, remember, all under when proper cause was in full effect. If we go to 2022, halfway through the year, the proper cause was thrown out, and therefore we expect the number of applications to increase, right? Yeah, 7,260. Good job, New York. Good job, New York. However, NYPD only approved 1,550 of those, or 21%. But if you parse that data even farther, it's much worse than it appears. It's pretty bad, but it's much worse. If you compare June to December 2021 and June to December 2022, which is when the Bruen decision would have taken effect, so proper cause would be out the window, New York received about 2,000 applications in the latter part of 2021. They received over 5,000 in the latter part of 2022. And of those 5,000, only 503 have been approved. So basically what the city of New York said is, hey, we're going to sit on these as long as we can until we figure out what it is we can deny people for, because we have no idea what to do about the situation, because this sent shockwaves through the gun control apparatus that has been operating in the city for over 100 years. The only problem with that is you got to be really good on your timing, because the state of New York has a law that says that you have to complete those applications within 6 months of application. So you either have to approve them or deny them in 6 months. Well, instead of sitting on the applications for 5 months and 28 days, the city of New York screwed the pooch, and they've been sitting on them for quite some time. In fact, it has gotten to the point where a civil class action lawsuit has been filed against the NYPD for failure to complete these, because very few of those applications were outright denied. They're still sitting at pending. So they're just sitting there basically like, we don't know what we can and cannot do because we haven't gotten our marching orders yet. And they're basically just kicking the can down the road in violation of not only the Supreme Court decisions, but the state law of New York as well. And how are the city of New York's residents responding to this? In a way that has to have the leftists just absolutely losing their mind. They're 3D printing their own guns, which is fantastic. In fact, I would say that that is a very Texas thing to do. They're New Yorkers. Congratulations. Welcome to the club. In fact, if you were to read this story on, it talks about a African-American software engineer that is being rolled up over illegal weapons trafficking, even though he's like, nah, man, I'm just making my own stuff. I just happen to make a whole bunch of it. So get off. And I'm interested to see how that one ends, because that is potentially poised to end ghost gun regulations across the country. And I will be salivating over the decision that is made in that one, because nothing hacks a leftist off more than the loss of gun control, which is happening across the country, and it's happening in a big way. Thank you for joining us here today on the VSO Gun Channel, and hopefully we'll see you on another video here pretty soon.